typically the month of Ramadan. For those that are they do like that religion, cult, whatever you call it, we're going to do a special show today. Now, today, my name is Bruce, and I'm going to claim that I have Janet from another planet on here with me, but you can't tell until she laughs. It gives it
Yeah.
away.
Sorry.
Like a fart in an elevator. You know who it is.
I'm. This is how I'm dressed for today.
Um, Welcome to A Girl, a Guy in a Movie, episode something, 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 and we just watched Not Without My Daughter with Sally Field and Alfred Molina from 1991.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of a hard watch.
Yep. It was tough.
Yeah. Now, right before we started doing this, we had to have some laughs, and Josh was with us, so I showed Janet the donkey story from the Unsubscribed podcast.
Yeah.
And I feel so sorry for Muslim kids that got to watch that version of Shrek because that doesn't end well. All right. This is my first time watching the film, Janet.
Mine too.
I was
I've
I
never
was
watched
stuck
it.
right here. I was planted right here watching this movie, and I thought, "Holy cow, this is great!" Ungar, my favorite T-shirt maker. Love you, bud, and I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're outside of the hospital. If you're not if you're in the hospital, I hope that a nurse hears my plea and she smothers you with her titties. I mean, gives you a close hug and puts her face in the pillow. Did I say that? I want you to have as an enjoyable life as you can, man. Hungar is the brother to our good friend James, the dungeon master. But this movie is kind of a rough movie to watch. It kind of starts off, for those who don't know, it's based on a book written in 87.
Mm-hmm.
And then in
The movie
91,
came out in '91. Yeah.
yeah, in 91, they released this movie. But there's a cultural thing going on in America right now. We're having, uh, I recognize that fax machines were pre-internet because whenever something would happen,
Mm-hmm.
my dad or my aunt or my uncle would bring to me a stack of faxes they got from their friends, and it was whatever culturally what relevant was going on. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was the picture where it showed the Scud missile launcher. This is back in 1991. Desert Storm was going on, and it showed a camel that had swallowed a missile, and there was a Muslim behind him, supposed to be an Iraqi. There was somebody behind him with a giant mallet that was going to break the camel's balls on a tree stump and
Mm-hmm.
thunk the missile out of the camel's mouth. We used to get these all the time. Before the internet, the people that worked in an office had one joy in life, and that was it. They would get funny jokes in the faxes from their friends, and they'd have to hide it from the office Karens at the time because there were people that they wanted to believe that Chipper Gore was a nice lady, and the PMRC wanted your kids to listen to healthy music, wholesome
Mm-hmm.
music. But we got a stack of anti-Muslim, anti-Iraqi pictures, and I just decorated the refrigerator to my mother's disdain. And I would come home every day and I just laugh. I loved it. And then I went to school because I was a sophomore at the time, and I took some of the papers with me to school. And then they had a parent-teacher conference. That goes well. You know how that is.
Mm-hmm.
So mom was really upset. No more of those came into our house. You go pick up some Chinese food? Okay, you're not in the hospital. Unless you're just walking down to the Chinese restaurant at the bottom of the hospital, which That actually would make sense if they had Chinese food in the hospital. It's not going to fill you up. Hey, Josh. So, Sally Field goes off to Iran with her husband.
Well, you gotta talk about why she went. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
You have a couple that looks like they had a loving relationship because they're having a gathering with her.
Beautiful
her
house.
parents. Yeah, beautiful house. He's a doctor. She's a photographer. At least that's what it looked like because she had professional camera equipment, stuff like that. And they've been married. We don't know for exactly how long, but it seems like a while. And they have like an 8-year-old daughter. And she's fishing with her dad, and it looks like a regular happy family, and her mom and dad are there, and they're cooking, having a cookout and talking about different things that's going on in their lives. And then it was a couple days later, the wife comes in the bedroom and the husband's sitting comes out of the house, and the husband's sitting in the grass listening to like a boombox, and it's playing like some opera music, really, really beautiful opera music. And she goes out there and he turns it off, and she said, "No, leave it on. I want to hear it." So she says, "What's wrong?" They start talking, and he's talking about how he misses his family and things like that. And that's when we find out that he's from Iran, and that his mother, he misses his brothers and his dad and his mom and things like that. And that's what the whole story comes up about. Oh, we need to go see him, and the wife is saying, "Well, why don't we have your mom come here or whatever to visit?" And he says, "Mom doesn't travel." He's making all these excuses. And she tells him, "I don't want to go there to visit because I'm afraid of things that are going on there. It's not safe." And she says that she doesn't want to take her daughter there, that this type of stuff. And he finally tells her, in a loving way, why he's, touching her hair, and he's got his hand on her shoulder and things like that. Very affectionate. And he says, I wouldn't put you or I can't remember how to pronounce the daughter's name.
Moonlight. Just call her Moonlight because that's what her name means.
Moonlight. So basically, she ends up feeling okay. She feels guilty that she can see her parents anytime she wants, but he hasn't been able to see his family in 10 years. So it's been that long since he went the last time. So they've never seen their daughter and things like that. So she decides, okay, I'll go. And she even covers her hair and everything when she's at the airport, being respectful for him, that a good wife to him, basically. But they're all there, and then they're all surrounded by all these people. And the men have the things on their head, the coverings, head coverings, and the women are wearing burqas. Basically, everything's covered except their face. Their hair isn't even showing or anything. It's just her face. And she's like, and you can see the daughter is very overwhelmed, and the mother is, holding the daughter, and then the dad takes the daughter, back and forth, that she's overwhelmed by all the, the noise and all the people gathering around them and stuff. So they get the car, they're getting ready to get in the car and leave, but that's when his mother comes over and hands her a gift, and then none of them are speaking English, and there wasn't subtitles. So I like that they didn't have subtitles, because it kind of gave you that feeling of what it would be like to be thrust into another country, surrounded by people, but not understanding anything they're saying. And then when they're staring at you and pointing and stuff, you don't know what they're saying, and you don't understand the English or the language. And then he's speaking the same language with everyone else, and they're hugging, and they bring her flowers, and she's trying, she could tell she's overwhelmed too. She's like, she just doesn't know how to react or what to do or what's being said. And the mother hands her this something wrapped, and the first thing I thought of was, oh, it's a burqa, is what I was thinking, and I was right, even though I'd never seen that. So
here we go. Now join us.
He says, "Open it. It's a gift, right?" Mm-hmm. So she opens it, and she's like, "Thank you," and she just holds it, and then she says something else, and he says she's saying, "Put it on now." Mm-hmm. It's more appropriate or something like that. So she starts to put it on, and it's dark, and drab, because all of it's very drab, and she's wearing a bright outfit, and she has a light colored scarf, and it's tied, right here. It's a small one like we would wear here for horseback riding or whatever, for our hair not to be blowing all over, or in a convertible car, something like that. And so she puts it on. They get in the taxi or the other car. It looks like taxis, but maybe that's their family cars or whatever. And then they go back to the house, and that's when she meets, everyone at the home. So I'll let you go now.
No, I was just saying, like, for crying out loud, like the entirety of Iran changed in 1978, 79 when the CIA flipped the stupid country. They got all the college kids in America to protest for him, and they were saying this guy was bad for Iran. Up to this point, you could walk around Iran in a bare midriff, show your belly, have your hair out, wear pigtails or not, doesn't matter. But you could. It was a probably the most progressive of the nations in the Middle East. Really pissed off Saudi Arabia too, I might add. But after that, it turned into a country where you got ninjas all over the place. And
One scene, the first scene where I got like, scared for her, was when they, right after they got home, they all went to go to, I guess, the market in town where the whole family goes, and they're getting food and stuff to welcome them, for coming, and they're all excited and hugging the granddaughter, and she's really overwhelmed and crying for her mom and stuff because she doesn't understand, what anybody's saying either. You got to remember, nobody speaks the language except for the father.
Nobody speaks this whatever the Iranian over there.
Yeah, whatever. I don't remember what it's called.
Forth and tries to teach them.
She's, disheveled, and she's trying to take care of her daughter. And all of a sudden you see a car pull over, and a woman with a M16 basically comes running over to her, yelling and screaming and pointing the weapon at her. And she's like, what's going on? Then the husband comes over, and the mother-in-law and all of them. And then another guy gets out of the car, and they're running over, and they're putting her hair up underneath her hair cover because her bangs were hanging out, and that's not allowed in the country on the street. So her husband was trying to explain, well, she's not from here. She's not from here.
Culture.
She's from another country. She's from America.
I didn't stutter.
That was very scary. So that was very overwhelming for me because of the in your face, trauma of not understanding the customs, which was terrible on the husband's part to not inform her, this is what you got to do. Because at least she covered her hair. So he told her she has to cover her hair or whatever. And then he tried to give her the excuse that, I haven't been here and it wasn't like that when I left. So I don't know if it was real or not, because as the movie progresses, we realize that he lied about everything, basically, to her.
Everything that came out of
her there because he wasn't ever going to leave. He was going to make her stay there.
But according to some Muslims, they tell you that it's permissible for a Muslim to lie to an infidel.
Yeah, to
you find out that's an actual fucking verse or surah in the little shitty book, the Quran.
Yeah.
But by the way, this for the first time, we've been sponsored by APAC. Okay. So this film is it's a rough watch. And I believe I've got a clip of it because I don't believe in YouTube and their terms and conditions at all. So
we'll just play the whatever that's called, that fair warning or whatever.
No, I'm just going to blow this.
Lives of ISIS.
It's only 3 days till the beheading, and I've got no idea what I'm going to wear.
Abdul seduced me online. He had me at free healthcare. So this is my 6th marriage. I've been widowed 5 times. 6 times.
I'm so glad I've moved over here. It's everything those guys on the chat rooms told me it would be, and it's full of so many wonderful surprises. Didn't have to do this at Birmingham. Bullshit.
Are you ready, girls? Yeah, hang on, I'm recording it for Instagram.
Gives you a little idea. I think
it's fun. What do you think? Oh, they surprised me with it yesterday. Hashtag OMG, hashtag Jihadi Jane, hashtag death to the West ISIS emojis. Oh, babes, I love it. You look gorgeous.
She looked massive. You're gonna need a lot of Semtex to kill that one.
Oh, guys. Hey, What do you think of this?
Uh-oh. They both have the same outfit. That's not
What
good.
a complete bitch. She knew I had that jacket. Copies everything. Copied this.
Oh my God, it was so cringe. Hashtag matchy matchy.
It's times like this I wish I'd never moved out here.
Coming up next week.
He won't stop talking about his 40 virgins. Why can't he be happy with me?
Ali bought me a new chain, which is 8 foot long. So I can almost get outside, which is great.
That's terrible, but it's still funny.
It's hilarious because, I mean,
Is that what you felt through the whole movie?
that was my fucking thoughts throughout the entire movie. Like, I'm so glad I live in a free country where I can make fun of a goat fucking theology. I swear to fucking God. And then I turn on my Twitter today, and there's a guy going around these little crappy bodegas in Houston telling him that he got 30 days to stop selling pork and beer. I'm like, this guy's going to
Yeah, I
bodegas
saw that. I
It's
saw
little neighborhoods.
Did
Like,
you share that with me?
what white people are going to go there anyway? He's not selling pork and fucking Bud Light or Modelo.
Mm-mm.
He's selling the garbage food for the garbage people. I mean, the squiggle people occupy the poverty-stricken areas. I mean, God bless them. I love it because they're in Houston. Maybe it'll flood someday.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's going to flood or not. But
I'm trying. I'm praying for rain. I'm doing something.
The whole thing about the movie was the portrayal of a mother of a young girl, okay, that is now in Iran, okay,
Yeah.
and married to an Iranian, okay, and she can't speak the language. She doesn't know anything about the culture, and it's okay for a little while, but she's starting to feel the tension that the mother and some of the other family members don't like her and don't approve of her because she's not obedient like they are. Well, for the one thing that stood out to me was when they had dinner in the house, they had no table. Everybody sat on the floor, which I think is in their
Terrible. You have
customs
to
or
prop
whatever.
yourself up.
And all the food was brought by the women, and they put it down on the floor in front of the men, and they had little mats and different things like that. But all the women were covered, except for their face showing. And then they were sitting in the back of the room behind all the men, and none of them spoke. The women all just sat, and they didn't even start eating until the one higher up, I guess, male in the family let them know that it was okay for the women to eat now. Stuff like that. So, man, I didn't go for any of that because I'm not a Muslim, and I definitely am not obedient, and I never would be. I mean, there's no way I would ever contort to any of that. I mean, as soon as they tried to make me do any of that stuff, I would have said, no, you might as well kill me. But once it started unfolding in front of me, and I realized that she was going to do whatever she was told simply because she had a daughter now, and he knew that. He would just say, "You're never going to see her again," and then he would start locking her in her room and bring food to her and stuff. Because at first she just laid on the bed. She just laid on the daughter's bed and stayed in bed and prayed. She prayed a lot with her daughter. Now, she never mentioned the fact that she was a Christian or anything, but she prayed to God, with her daughter about, please help us get out of Iran, so we can be together. Me and my daughter can get out of here. Every single night she did that with her daughter, and the daughter prayed with her mom. And her daughter was really smart. I don't know if she was in real life, but in the movie she was, because she's very small. And her dad would carry her around, but her dad in the movie was a very big guy, and she would ask questions about everything. What's this sign mean? What's that mean? Why are they doing this? All the different questions constantly, because her mother had asked her to please ask as many questions as you can, so when it's time for us to leave, it'll help me understand better what everything says and what everything means and whatever type of thing. And what was really scary, when I really realized it was bad, was when she was told there is no American embassy there. So she can't even get out and get to the embassy and at least stay there. Because what was his name? The one guy, the internet guy that stayed in the embassy to keep from being arrested. He's real famous. Can't remember what his name is.
We know who you're talking about.
WikiLeaks.
Snowden.
WikiLeaks guy.
Snowden.
Yeah. No, the other one, the WikiLeaks guy.
Julian Assange.
Yeah, Julian Assange. So I felt bad because then I realized she couldn't even go there because they didn't even have an embassy for her to go to.
No.
To try to get away. So, and then as it progressed and it got worse and he started beating her when she wouldn't do what she's told.
We're talking about
punching her in
leaving.
the face.
Talking about
Yeah.
going home.
Yeah. Whenever she talked about leaving. So she thought she finally found some people that would listen to her and explain to her the rules, basically, that he never did, you know. And plus, I don't think she would have believed him anyways, even if he sat down with her and told her stuff after this time where he's abusive to her and stuff. When the woman at the one place, embassy or whatever that she did get to go to, the Sweden embassy, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. She told her that you would have to get divorced to be able to leave him because you're not going to be able to leave if you're married to him because he owns you. He's the ruler. You have to do what you're told, whatever type thing. And she said, well, how do I do that? And she said, then me and my daughter can leave. And she goes, no, you can't take your child.
Nope.
Your child has to stay with the father. The father's the only one that has rights when it comes to a child in Iran. And I was like, you gotta be effing kidding me. I got really pissed off when I heard that. And it was devastating. I just was brokenhearted for her because I didn't see any way out. I didn't see her getting out of there because his whole family was spying on her. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't go outside or anything in the house or anything without him telling everything that she talked to or anything she did. So
the movie makes some omissions on things. I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm. Like
it doesn't reflect on the fact that she's already got 2 boys from a previous marriage. Those are nowhere in the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we can only talk about the movie because that's what we watched. Because we didn't read the book. So
you have some things where they don't really tell you that she escapes through northern Iran going into Turkey because everybody talks like they're Farsi or whatever language they're speaking. So you have no idea really what's going on around her because you don't understand. Only the hand gestures, get in the truck, get in the car, get in this national vehicle that was passed down from another first world country to our country. That's the majority of the last act is just a bunch of people speaking things that she can't understand, and she goes and does stuff, follows him, gets in the car with him. It doesn't explain to you that she's going into Turkey, into Ankara, but that's where it's supposed to be. And more importantly,
it looked like to me the background and the scenery and the way the one gentleman was dressed that came up to the Jeep with the gun, it looked like they were in Egypt to me. In the movie.
It looks like Egypt. It's not.
That's what it looked like. Yeah, so that's what I just assumed because you can't understand the language, which made it nail biting. The whole thing to me was it was really hard for me to watch this because it was like I was there and I couldn't help because I couldn't understand anything anyone was saying. And I think that they did that on purpose without the subtitles.
They do it intentionally because you need just the voice and the power of the person's acting to convey, is this a good person or is this a bad person? And this movie's completely from the story that she has. Mm-hmm. It's not about his life. It's not about his upbringing and why he's such a douchebag. This movie is about her playing Mama Bear and trying to get her child out of a bad situation. It's all from her perspective. There is a companion movie to it called Without My Daughter, from the husband's perspective, made in 2009. Mm-hmm. It's out there if you want to see it. You can find it. If I found this on the internet, you can find that on the internet. And then there's a book from the daughter. The daughter wrote a book in 2022, and there was like original tagline, the adventure of Not Without My Daughter continues, and now it's just kind of like it's interesting. I mean, let me get that actual
I wanted to
tagline.
show everybody my earrings that I wore simply because I'm being a rebel. You see what's on it?
Hold on, let me tab over.
I'm wearing crosses because I felt
Sharing.
like, see, I'm wearing my little cross earrings because I felt like, well, I better pray a lot during this because I felt like I was going to need it.
I don't want America to turn into a shithole country. I don't want squiggle people to take over. I don't even want geometry people to take over. I want them to give the power back.
I just think we are, honestly, it really made me think about it after we were finished, how lucky we are to live in America, to have freedom of religion, because we have Buddhas, we have Wiccans, we have Satanists here, we have Christians, we have Catholics. I mean, we have everything. We have a huge melting pot. I came from New Orleans, and I'm telling you, there is a lot of religions there, and people get along. Nobody cares, that you're this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
Nobody treats you different or shuns you or anything because you are of a different creed than they are. And it's sad that other countries don't have that. I mean, they shun you if you are not a Muslim. You were treated like dirt, basically. And if you tried to, like if I showed up and I had my bang showing, people, or my wrist, you saw my wrist or my ankle. Oh my God, you'd stone me in the street.
I'm just going to say that if you want to take off your hijab and wear normal clothing or have something comfortable that's Janet-ish on, go on ahead.
Well, I was going to show everybody my beautiful hijab right here. Wouldn't all the women want to wear that? Look how beautiful her eyes are. At least you could see that.
When you get divorced,
wouldn't like that either.
The great thing, if you're a Muslim guy, you don't got to change your wedding photo.
Yeah, not really. But yeah, it was really, really, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time for her character. And she did a great job for me. And then you could see a shift in her when she realized the fact that she wasn't going to leave and that he was going to just starve her to death, basically lock her in a room and leave her to starve to death. And if it hadn't been for the daughter crying to her daddy, please, I want to see mommy, that kind of stuff, she probably never would have seen her again. You know what I mean?
No.
Because he didn't need her anymore, because he realized that she didn't want to be with him because of the situation she was in, and that he was having to force himself on her, which, they probably didn't talk about that at all. They didn't show any of that stuff. But boy, she looked like she took quite a few beatings. You know what I mean? In front of all the other people, and nobody does anything because women are pieces of meat, basically, that you just say, oh, well.
On legs.
Yeah. Kick you to the curb.
Show Bob's and Vagine.
So,
I'm sure if you go on Twitch, that's all you hear. Show us Bob's and Vagine. You really just need a still suit.
It was heartbreaking for me to watch her, because it was over a long period of time, because they said 6 months later.
18 months for the total time.
Yeah, and what's sad is what really got her to going, I got to do something. I got him desperate, and went after that gentleman and the shopkeeper, right? That one shopkeeper that had the men's suit store. And he overheard her talking, and he waved her in, and she went in there, and he said, you can use my phone anytime you need, right? And she was able to call her mother and ask her mother some questions about where she should go and how she could get somewhere. And her mother said, I've already called the State Department, and they said for you to go to the Swedish embassy and ask as many questions as you can. And that's when she found out about if she got divorced, that she wouldn't have her daughter. So she didn't file for divorce because she knew that wasn't going to make a difference. And that would probably hurt it even more, because then she wouldn't have any access to her daughter at all. So the best thing for her to do was to pretend that she wanted to convert and be a good wife and be a man. That was hard, because I don't know if I could have done it. To kiss ass and sit behind her man and cook and wait on him hand and foot and cover up from head to toe, except when he comes in the bedroom, she had to try to look sexy and brush her hair and wear sexy clothes, for him in the bedroom where no one else could see. It's just with his eyes only. And You know,
I mean, that is a polite view, and I wish more women would have that as their personal goal, where they don't go out like dressed like undressed.
naked.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't go out in public naked and parade your hoo-ha to all the people that aren't supposed to be able to have that access. You
not
want to
not
have.
every woman is Mia. I forget what her name is. Let me pull her up. Go ahead, Janet.
Well, what I was saying is, I say it a lot. I say that there's nothing wrong with whatever you and your husband want to do behind the closed doors. You know, if you want to put on a blonde wig and a sexy outfit for him, or thigh high boots and a whippets and chains and a big ponytail that hangs down, wig or whatever, it's fantasy. You should be able to do whatever you want in your bedroom, but you don't want to do that out in public, because then it gives you a totally different look and brings attention to yourself. Unless you're at Comic-Con, everyone expects you to be dressed up in costumes there.
But
And
not every woman looks like this.
like-minded people. But the whole thing about the parades and stuff that we've been seeing in the last 4 years, that is to draw attention to themselves, because they're trying to show, see, we are different. We deserve to be in the public. Now, just like I've said many times, I wouldn't have a problem if a person that looked like a woman went into the women's bathroom and just used the bathroom and left, just like I would do. Who would have a problem with that? But they don't. They go and say, I'm trans, and you have to treat me like a woman, whatever. When they bring it to your attention, they're forcing you
mentally ill. That's all.
it, right? So the sad truth is that I didn't really have a problem with any of this until she was lied to get her to go there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you instantly, when you start finding that out, that he lied because he knew she wouldn't go. But he could have went anytime he wanted, and she had no problem with that. But she felt unsafe. But he enjoyed being a Muslim more than he cared about his wife and his kid. Didn't care about their needs, and they don't have to in that religion. They can do whatever they want. They're the man. They're the boss. They rule the roost, basically. So I can see, honestly, I got the view of why so many men love being a Muslim. Well, who wouldn't want to be? You can whack her on the head. You can slap her upside the face. You can lick the floor, whatever you want. And nobody will do anything about it. So any male that wants to beat his wife and stuff, man, they should become a Muslim, because that's a religion for you. I mean, I hate to say that, but basically, I know a couple women that were married to abusers, and I didn't see that much difference between the way they talk to their women and shit.
I mean, be more fearful
we have this international
of
flag
white
right
men
here
across our country,
that
because they are
how we should be
actually
more fearful of white men
causing
for actually
most
causing
of
both
the
deaths
deaths
within the
within this country. We should be
The thing with this
profiling.
woman, though, is
It's the brother fucker.
she won't leave America because she's got it better here. Because you got to remember, when she goes back to her country, she has to take her place again, which is second. Mm-hmm. Underneath the man, which means she can't own shit. You know, it's not hers anymore. Yeah. She has to hand it over. So she's not going to give that up. She wants to spout the religion, but she's not going to go back to where she's forced to live that. See what I mean? It's one place for this person and one place for the others. And that's one reason why I don't agree with it. But the movie itself was terrifying for someone like me in my position as a Christian woman. That believes that God took Adam's rib, but I know I talked about this already to you, from his side, not from his foot, and made Eve to be partners in life side by side, not as his slave. And he talked to Eve in the Garden of Eden, asked her questions. She was his confidant. You know, they were friends. They talked about everything. They were partners. You know, she wasn't his slave. So I just have a hard time with it as a Christian to accept what happened to her. But if you go to another country, that's a risk that you're going to take. And when they tell you, we don't recommend you traveling to these areas, I wouldn't go. I don't care what religion you are. If you're a woman, you shouldn't go to a country like that unless you want to maybe have something where it ends up happening and you never get to leave.
Yeah.
you know.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's very sad that that's exactly what happens in this film. They completely lie to her. They just take the daughter and off to Iran we go, and the entire family's a bunch of assholes. Here's your head job. Now sit in the corner with the rest of us women. You know,
But the scariest thing was when she found out that her birthday was coming up in 6 months. And when she
start dating.
Yeah, when she's 10, they're going to start preparing her for her to be able to be married to whoever it is that they choose. That's probably for whatever amount of money, because they're not rich. See, this is a lower class family, farming family, and not really farming, but in that realm.
They're not merchant class. They're definitely not doctor class.
So they knew, or she knew now, that the daughter would be prepped up and beautified or whatever they do to have her ready to trade her for the most whatever they're going to get for the daughter. Once she marries, and try to marry her up, into somebody with money, and the family gets whatever for their girl. And it's like it's just gut-wrenching to me as a mom with 2 daughters. I don't know how I wouldn't be able to do it. So I would have been beaten to death probably if I'd been her. So it wouldn't have ended up being the same story.
I thought this was a very well thought movie. I went on a couple places and I was reading comments and movie reviews, and a lot of people were really dismissive about it because it's like not painting Islam in a good light. Mm-hmm. And they don't really watch the bigger picture, which is like there's a bunch of Muslims in this movie that do a really good job of trying to get Betty to safety with her daughter. Even though there is that one creepy SOB that's in the campsite with him in the cave, and he's trying to cuddle up to Betty and get some snoo. Once that happens, things kind of go down south. And I thought that was going to turn into something, because it was going to be him at a checkpoint that would be like, there she is. There's the halal pig, or the ram pig that wouldn't let me fuck her. Let's kidnap her and her daughter. I thought that was going to happen. It didn't. Rather pleasant.
That was a scary scene, especially when the daughter woke up and saw the guy basically laying on top of her mom and kissing her and grabbing her and stuff. And the daughter started screaming, "Wake up, Mom, wake up." But Mom had been up for days trying to protect her daughter from whatever's going on, holding her in her arms while they're traveling and going different places, trying to get out of the country and out of the other countries to get her to an embassy so she could go home. And when I saw that flag blowing, I got emotional when I saw the United States flag waving in the wind. She was holding her daughter and she's like, "We're home, baby, we're home." That was moving.
Big relief,
especially in the day and time that we are right now, where we're seeing so many of our rights just being blown away, like they don't mean shit. And people, that's a small group of people being able to force their point of view on us. And even in schools where we're not even allowed to protect our children from things that we don't agree with. And it's like, we're losing more and more rights every day. And when they come in and say, well, you aren't a good parent, so we're not going to let you raise your kid. We're going to take your kid. Like what Hillary said, and it takes a village to raise a child, So, I just don't like that woman either. I don't agree with her at all. I think she's repulsive. But, that's my point of view, But it was heart-wrenching. This was a really hard movie to watch as a mom. So if you're a mom and you don't want to feel like you want to be a mama bear big time, don't watch this movie, because that's exactly what it made me feel like. It made me want to call my kids and give them a big old hug.
When your daughter gets home, you get a chance to give her a big hug.
I am definitely going to, because I tell you, it's tough. This is a really, really hard. And, and I'm hoping there's a lot of men out there that don't want to see that happen here. But when you're looking at the news every day right now with what's going on in New York, for a mayor of New York City, isn't New York City the biggest city in our country?
Sadly.
Okay, well, just think about it. With that many people are wanting to vote for a Muslim to be the mayor, and there's a couple other little towns that have Muslim mayors. After what I've seen happen to London, with their Muslim mayors, and some of the places in Canada that have so many Muslims in it, they're losing the culture, American culture. When a person comes to America, like we were saying, they don't assimilate. They don't learn the language. And when you have a generation, 3 generations of people that came over the border that are being paid for and taken care of by us and our tax dollars, and they still haven't even tried to learn English. The generation that first came over is still not speaking English. That tells me they don't like this country. They don't want to be Americans. So why'd they come here? I don't understand. I don't understand why they came here in the first place. So when I hear stories from my ancestors that came from, through Nova Scotia, through Ellis Island and all that stuff, they talk about how they only had a few dollars in their pocket and one suitcase between for the whole family, that came, a family of 4.
Yeah.
And I look at some of the stuff, the censuses, all different kinds of documents and stuff that I was able to look up on MyHeritage. And it's just really wonderful. And it's like when they saw the Statue of Liberty, they just said it was the most beautiful thing they'd ever seen, a sign of freedom. And you go back and you read this stuff from your ancestors, and we lost that somehow. We've lost our sense of freedom and what it means.
Tell us we get to see that. No, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
This is one of my favorite videos. I'll post the link in chat, but
yeah,
don't watch the video per se. Just read the fucking comments. The comments are gold, and it'll give you hope that America can still be free.
Well, that it's starting to shift away from the people that are wanting to make money using the term that he's a white man and he's an Islamophobe. Yeah. And he hates me because I'm a Muslim. The funny thing about that, when you got me to watch that video, was how did the guy know when he's coming up behind her and she's driving like really, really slow? Okay. And there's a school bus and other vehicles all behind him, and he's trying to get to work apparently. And so he comes up behind her and he's allowed to pass. That's one of the rules in our country, is if there's a dotted line, that means if it's open, you can go around. It's illegal. It's legal to do that. But since she doesn't understand the laws of the way our country works, but she has a driver's license for some reason, she thinks the guy's trying to assassinate her because she's a Muslim, when he doesn't even know she's a Muslim. He's passing a car on the road. It has nothing to do with her. It's just the fact that she was slow. That's it. And then she tries to run him off the road because he tries to pass her. And then when he pulls over and he's like, what the fuck? Rolls his window down. She throws all that water on him. It just escalates because she has no idea what she's doing. She doesn't understand the rules of the road in this country. And she needs to have not had a license at all. And whoever gave her a license, which she apparently didn't take the test or anything, is shocking. And that's why we're having people die on the road now with the semi problem, with illegals getting a semi license to drive those ginormous trucks on the road when they don't know the laws either. They can't even read the signs. Yeah. So we have an epidemic right now in our country. So that's one reason why I was kind of excited to watch this, even though, I'm still, my knuckles are still white, from watching this movie. It is it's
taut. Yeah, it is really tense throughout the entire film.
Yes, there definitely.
And I was just very pleased to be able to watch it. And I was going to make a joke like, oh yeah, it's the first week of Ramadan. Actually, it's not. This is the 9th month of the Gregorian calendar, the proper calendar.
Yeah.
Woman here. We're not animals. We're not muzzies. We're not squiggle people, and we're not plops. And the thing is that the 3rd month of the year would typically be like Ramadan. That's like March. And for those who can't count, and I'm not saying my general chat people. No, this movie, we should have watched it in March. My bad, because I would want to kind of like share a few photos of my ass
Yeah.
and just say like how much I hate Islam, but I just don't want to understand that like there's problems in the world. There's bigger problems than anything else, and this movie is very important. It's very good. It shows you what a woman went through. The problems I have with this movie is that when they released it, we had just gone to war in Iraq with Desert Storm, so it feels like it's a propaganda thing. It wasn't. They didn't know that we were going to be at war in January.
When she wrote the book, after her experience, I don't know what was going on at the time when that actually happened to her in her life. And she was in it. But I have read more stories since I found out about this book and this movie of other women from other countries, not just America, that went to other countries like Iran and Syria and stuff, and were trapped there and had to fight and sneak and go in tunnels or whatever, basically underground systems to try to figure out how they could sneak them out and get them out, because if they would have been killed or stoned to death, in the streets. And then they probably would have never seen their kids. So this right here is a good way to teach you to find out what you're getting into. If you're going to get married, make sure you know who you're going to marry. What other beliefs? Do you want to live with that person the rest of your life in their country? Find out more. Maybe there are women. I've seen a lot of women that were interviewing after this whole thing with one of the countries. I can't remember which one it was, but they were saying that they want to go there and live. So if they want to go there, I'll help them buy a ticket. Let them go over there. But
what the brother fucker said, that she misses Somalia, and I'm like, how much is a ticket? I'll help you. I would love to help ship all the Somalis back.
She's like worth $30 million now. Yeah, someone who came here as a refugee, apparently.
Yeah,
so she's not doing too bad.
Nancy Pelosi get rich quick schemes.
But that's why she's not ever going to leave. Why? Even if she ends up not getting reelected again, she's not going to leave and go back and lose everything she's worked for here. You know what I mean? So, and neither is her brother that she married to get over here. So, it's kind of hard to give that up, this kind of freedom, once you've lived in that, just like what we just saw. All those women, that one woman, the other American woman that you were talking about, that she was so excited to talk to in that special school that helps women convert and understand the rules and regulations of a Muslim wife and how you're supposed to be obedient and how you're supposed to wear your clothes and what the religion means and, what's expected of you as a woman and a mother. And she had 4 kids supposedly with this guy. And he taught her a lesson when she apparently didn't tell him the truth about that letter that she had on her. So, she...
quite a valuable lesson at that.
Yeah.
I don't know. This movie should be shown to more kids, especially as we integrate more people from the sand cultures, from squiggle places of the world. I'm just happy that we can call them squiggle people, and I'm going to call them squiggle people the rest of my fucking life.
I don't understand what that means, but
look at their fucking writing.
Because of their writing, the lettering.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
Yeah,
right. It took me a few minutes. I was trying to understand what you were saying, but
I like how they use Germanic or mostly English-based languages, and really not into non-Western civilization, which is where this is based out of. And that's just me. I'm an apologist. I'm not an apologist. I'm a supremacist. I like Christian supremacy. I like Western civilization. I think it's the greatest thing the world's ever had. Even with all the fuck ups that America's had and all the problems we've had, it's much better than anything that the rest of the world has tried. Even the Italians with Roman Empire, it doesn't compare to the American Empire. And I know that there's some people like, dude, you've been around for 250 years, maybe, and the Romans were around for 2,000. Yeah, look at that section of the world that they occupied. Let me know what you think.
But considering how young our country is,
Yeah,
and how strong it is,
we've innovated
and
far
how
more.
it's looked at by other countries around the world, they all look up to us. And why is it that we're the one country in the world that sends aid to almost every other country?
Everywhere.
Okay. And why is that? Is it because we're so fortunate, because we have so many people that want to live here, and we're all paying in money to help other countries, to send aid to all these other countries that hate us and want us dead. They want to blow us up, but yet we still send them money. So I'm liking the whole thing with the tariffs and everything that our president's doing, especially if we can get back to the system before we were ever taxed. Because, we went through many generations in our country before taxes were even added, to where you had to pay taxes to live in America, and we're having more states that are starting to get rid of personal property tax and different things like that. So there are ways to be able to pay your bills for your state, your schools, your roads, and things like that, without having to have the brunt of it be from taxes, unless you're in California or New York. I would just add that. So, yeah, we still got a long way to go, but not as far as others, because even though we're the youngest country, we're the freest country there is.
That's for sure.
All you have to do is look below us to our southern border, and then look above us of our northern border, and see, why do so many people still want to come here? What is it that we have that they don't? You think about it. And that's why I love the symbol at the very end, when you see the flag waving. No matter how many people burn it, no matter how many people stomp on it, tear it up, do whatever they can to it, it still shines brighter than any other one to me, because it's a symbol of freedom. Every country, I don't care what country you come from, you see the American flag, you know what it means. I can see lots of flags, and I don't know, I can't even tell you what country it comes from, some of them, because they're not talked about every day on the news in every country, in the newspapers and magazines and stuff like America is, because we have such a diverse cultures, and we have a melting pot of so many people from so many different cultures. That's what makes us special, because we have all that, yet we're free, and these other countries have some rights, but getting less and less, it seems like. That's why there's so many of them want to come here. Except I think most women, once they go to other countries, they go, well, maybe I liked America pretty much. It's a lot better or something. I don't know. I've been to other countries, but I was an Air Force brat, so I love this country the most. It's my favorite one. At least that's how I look at it. So how many countries have you been to, Bruce?
England,
Mm-hmm.
Scotland. Didn't really get off the pier much for that. Had to make an emergency stop. I'm retracing the route. Went to Brest, France for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Then to Arborg, Aarhus, which was my favorite, and Friedrichshafen, which was not anything more than just a seaside dock town with like lots of cranes and factories.
Yeah.
Then we went through the situation called Operation Blue Harrier. We blew up mines that were supposedly from the 50s and 40s that were floating out of the mouth of the inlet where you can get to Kyiv. And we came back, and that was when we hit Aarhus. And Aarhus was where we had 5 days of Liberty, but we still had to work in the mornings, which was bullshit. Liberty ports, you wake up, you go out, you fuck things. And this place, the Defender made us like work till noon. Sweep the ship, make it look pretty. Well, that's just because they didn't have fucking more than 17 guys, 18 guys per duty section.
Mm-hmm.
But that was it. We went in Aarhus knowing this, and it wasn't bad. It was actually a really pretty town, real nice people. Toured a few places there. When I say tour, I mean I went out and I got blitz drunk, and then I don't know much. Then we went back to Newcastle on Tyne, which that was nice. I would recommend Newcastle on Tyne, although people from England will be like, "Oh, don't go to that hellhole," which is funny because I loved it. It was a little college town. It had like 80 fucking microbreweries in it. Like, you guys think Americans getting microbreweries? No. The city-born.
But was it good?
Yeah, it was great. And the city-born people of the UK were like constantly trying to find the perfect blend of alcohol or drink or whatever. That was like the main thing they were doing in the 80s and 90s. So that was the big fad. We were walking around downtown, and I saw somebody had bought. I saw a familiar symbol because at the time, when I was in Illinois growing up, I bought my own Commodore 64 with lawn care money that I made, and I saw a Commodore insignia sticking out of a trash can. So we're walking along and go to this garbage can, and I start fucking with the box. It's an Amiga 2500, 2500 or 2000. I can't remember. It was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
My buddies are like, "What's that?" I'm like, "This is like the nicest fucking computer that's out there right now." This guy probably spent like $800, $900 for it. I don't know how much they paid over here. He's like, "Oh, wow." So we had a lot of fun. And then after that, we sailed from Newcastle on Tyne all the way down into Lisbon first, and saw the big Jesus statue in Lisbon, Portugal, which they kind of replicated for Brazil. And then after that, we went to Rota. Bruce went to Rota, Spain, because come find out, while we were doing a deck exercise in the Black Sea, I blew a hernia. So I have to go get my right inguinal hernia taken care of. And I went to Rota, and that was where I enjoyed myself for the rest of the summer of 1995. Then
when you went to these other countries, did you get to, see much about the culture of how, the difference of how women dressed or how they were treated over there compared to here?
It was still like the only place that was really a shithole was London, because there was a lot of Muslims there at the time in 95.
Yeah.
But like you look at them and they look at you, and you've got your military haircut, and there's like 5 other guys with military haircuts.
Yeah.
And you're like 20, 25 years old. So you've still got this like youthful anger and hatred in you. And then like the U.S. military had trained you, and everybody's thinking like, well, if the Navy pulls up, they're going to fucking fuck every woman and beat every dude. So they pretty much like don't fuck with you. And unless they like outnumber you 30-1, they're not. They just won't. They will do what they can to get away, because they just the Musrats don't fight fair. They fight odds of 8 or 10-1, and that's it. That's just how they are. That's their shitty culture, because they don't teach people how to fight. They teach people how to ambush, and that's it. And so when I was over there, like, that was it. The only thing we were ever really worried about was the chlamydia of London, and if you did a day trip over to Paris, some nasty disease, virulent thing that could get you, what was it? Some strain of herpes was really big at the time. Zoster strain. And
one of the things that I wanted to read, that when I looked up a couple of things about this movie and how the other people, the women and men, looked at Betty's character when she got there with her husband. Because you got to remember, none of these people had seen her before, right?
Yeah.
He had went home one other time, but it had been, 10 years earlier. And none of them had even met the wife or their new daughter, which was, she was 8 or 9 at this time, because she was almost 10, old enough to be wed or whatever, betrothed, or whatever you want to say that.
I mean, a lot of them always want to go for like 6. They want to introduce them to their supposed new husband at 6, and then let them get married at 9, just like they did Aisha. Because that's Islamic tradition. And if that ever happens in your family, make sure you buy. I recommend a Vermeer wood chipper, because they can break through about a 2.5-inch diameter bone pretty easily.
Well, with the representation I got when I was looking for it after we finished watching it today, it said, as a woman, she's an occasion of sin. It is forbidden for her to reveal so much as a lock of hair in public. The other members of her husband's family make little effort to communicate with her, other than to give her orders or to repeat religious truths. They are interested in her only as the mother of her husband's child. Her role, as it appears, is the infidel mother of an Islamic daughter. So she went there, and he knew that she was going there. He was taking her there against her will, if it needed be. But he couldn't force her in America, so he had to lie to her. He had to tell her that, he missed his family and whatever else, even though he already knew he'd been fired from his job, and he wanted to go back home where he would be treated differently, more manly, and not be picked on at work or whatever like he was, because of supposedly what the tensions that were going on, between our countries. And so he was like, you don't love America. Remember the conversation he had with his daughter when she said that someone asked her if her dad was an Iranian, that type of thing, a little girl. And it happens to kids at school. And whether we want to believe it or not, our children talk about stuff like this with their friends, especially if they think, it's a bullying tactic or whatever, that they stand out, or their mom comes to school wearing a hijab, that type of stuff. And so I can understand a little bit of that part of it. But when she went there trying, like I said, she covered her hair, and she was wearing one of her dresses is trying to be modest, she's doing her best to not embarrass her husband, and he didn't seem like he cared about what she was wearing. But as soon as the mother gave her that hijab to put on, she kind of was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What's going to happen? And each day that went on, you could tell she became more and more tense because of the way that they looked at her and the way that they basically just snubbed their nose at her. Because if they had said anything, you got to think about this too, though, to defend the women, because they were sitting behind the men. They didn't even eat with the men. They waited on them. They weren't allowed to do anything, right? So the fact that the women didn't talk to her was a lot to do with the way they were treated. Because if they were seen by their husbands being nice to her or saying she had pretty hair and things like that, they would get in trouble. See, when they got, just like the other woman, when she saw her at school and she had the whole side of her face was all bruised up because her husband beat the shit out of her, because the husband found out that she had given her that letter to drop off for her to mail to the embassy, right? And she didn't tell her husband. And that's when the husband said to her, you did this to her. It's your fault because you gave her something and told her to keep a secret from her husband. Wives don't keep secrets from their husbands here like that. So the husband can say whatever the hell he wants, but the wife has to be honest about everything. She has to tell him every detail about what goes on in her life, or she gets the shit beat out of her. That's basically. So, I could see why some men would think that's a great way to have a life, to have an obedient wife that does whatever she's told at the snap of a finger, right? Or else she gets a boot up her ass or in her face. So I can see why it's appealing. I really can. Because I've met a lot of men that like to slap their women around. Just imagine if it wasn't where they had to worry about it. If there was no one to call. If you lived somewhere and your husband could do whatever he wanted to you, and he could pass you around to his friends and you couldn't do shit. Couldn't call the cops or anything. So I know I don't want to live there. I wouldn't want to live in any country where a woman is a piece of meat, not a person. So I was heartbroken for her. I was devastated. And the fact that she went through all of that, because she could have left at any time, basically, if she'd left her kid. But as the kind of mother she wasn't about to leave and leave her daughter there.
We have received a gift donation, and one of the greatest coaches on the internet that we've got right now. He's in his quote unquote amateur years. This guy's really a journeyman coach.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Keto Simple. Keto Simple on Sunday mornings. If you're up with your loved one, I recommend you go into his chat and you say hi, because him and his wife have a fun little chat where they talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And they tell their story, and they're on this health. They're on the real health kick right now.
Yeah, they're really cute when they're both on there together.
Oh yeah,
I enjoy those streams, and I don't always say something when I'm watching it, but I love it when they do stuff as a husband and wife. It's fun.
So there's this video that he does, and he talks about various types of keto friendly chicken tenders. Now, moms out there who doesn't want chicken tenders be keto friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he goes through the whole stages of steps. It's a 20-minute video. He goes and he explains the after portion. But this is what you get if you do it as he says. Follow his instructions. He's a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost about 4 pounds in the last week, finally. But I'm not doing keto. I'm trying some other stuff. Like when I'm at work, I just start repping out between 20 and 30 push-ups at a time. Usually once per stop, sometimes twice. But man, it's a pain in the ass. I recommend you check this guy out, Keto Simple, and let's see. Tolbat has membership. Nerdy Yoga received a gift membership. Cam's Crash Courses, one of our long-term viewers, got a membership as well.
Mm-hmm.
My old co-host on Sunday mornings, Mahtob Draws, he received a membership. Parrothead, the greatest memester alive. He is literally a memester. The guy carries memes in his back pocket to share.
Mm-hmm.
Hungar, the man whose t-shirt I wear today. Mr. Bob Vecna. Thank you, sir. My co-host, she received I'm going to have to do a couple membership streams this week.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Your X received one. Good to see you, Watch Your X. And Eric K., the mod of mods, he received a gift membership. Keto Simple says Chandra and I are together on Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
I recommend you guys watch it, or at least go back to it and view it again, because like Janet and I both attest to, they're just a born for each other couple.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so cute together. I hate saying that. I feel like I'm talking about rabbits, but they are so cute for each other. They are so good to each other. Mm-hmm. And they're on this joyous little journey of life.
They just make you happy. You know what I mean? They're happy. So that makes you happy.
They display relationship goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to get old together. Might as well be happy together, because you're not always going to be pretty.
Best friends.
Yeah, but take your best friend along the trip with you, and you'll be fine, just like those two.
Mm-hmm.
And he was thinking that he was going to have a lot of changes going on in his life, because he had to rededicate parts of the house to family members moving in. I mean, not everywhere is having $2 gas, so he got things squared away, and he's got his life kind of in an upheaval right now. But he's doing a lot of fun stuff, and I think what's going to happen, he's going to get his family involved more in his YouTube work, because I think really, as he's sharing his knowledge and his coaching ability with his kids and grandkids, I think you're going to see that become more and more and more of kind of his content, because he's going to be able to show you, like, look at my wife, look at my son, look at my grandkid. You know, he's going to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
I've gushed about Keto Simple before. This is nothing new, guys. He's got one of the best channels on the interwebs. You should definitely check him out. It's channel.
But
There.
so what scene in this movie did you find that was the most rememberable because it's still going on today? What is it? Like 40 years old?
This movie is 34 years old. And the scene where Sally Field's in the office with all the other ladies, and then the war between Iraq and Iran comes home, and she's there for front and center.
Yeah.
That was probably the part that just like, oh, well, I guess it's 84. You know, that was what I thought, because I had just been reading some stuff on the Iraq-Iran war at the time. And there's a part where he blames America for being involved with everything. And I thought, that's not nice. But we were throwing equipment there. We weren't putting people on the ground at the time, but we were definitely putting equipment there. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked the movie a lot. I didn't like the fact we're in the middle of a war that somebody else had started, and now here we are to clean it up again. Seems like that's how it always happens, right, Janet? You know, you got to send your kids off to work.
It's like it never ended. You know what I mean? It's like as soon as they say this is done, it's still going on. And then the next thing you know, after I thought we were done in Afghanistan, we find out that they pulled all these people out and left them millions of dollars.
Billions.
Of stuff there.
Billions.
You know, I was shocked over all that stuff. So it's like, it's all of it is ridiculous to me. I don't know why we're even involved in any of that shit. Do what we're doing. Use our boats, take out people if we feel like they're going to be a threat to us. They're coming to our country, or they're bringing something here. Get rid of them. But for us to be over in another country fighting their war for them, I don't agree with that. I think that it's none of our damn business. How many of them, I'll put it this way, how many of those other countries that we are constantly spending money on and constantly over there helping them come here and help us with drugs or any of our problems?
I will say there is the occasional time where you'll see like Ireland or Scotland get involved with the aid effort, but it's not very often. Those are countries that are having trouble. So they're not going to give you aid every way, every day. It's just how it is.
So I don't know. I just think it's bullshit that we really haven't come very far when it comes to the problems that we have with these other countries, you know, and we just need to stay out of it. I think.
You know, there's a discussion for Friday night for that.
Well, what's your score for this movie? I mean,
before I give my score, I'm going to ask if anybody's seen this film. If anybody has seen this movie, let us know what you think of it, because this movie has a lot of tense moments for me. I thought it was really good, but I want to hear your guys' scores as well. I know you come here to listen to me and Jana argue and bicker, but we both really kind of are unified on this movie here, because it was a very interesting film, and I wasn't expecting the level of acting capacity to come out of Sally Field. I know she's an okay actress. I didn't realize she was a great actress, and she really does her best to knock out of the park. The moment whenever she finally gets to Turkey and she sees the Marine Corps guys outside the embassy, you just see this wave of relief spread over her face. That she only has like 6 or 7 scenes where she's happy in this movie.
Yeah.
She has a lot of scenes where she's hopeful. She has a lot of scenes where she's beaten up, and she looks like she's getting the worst end of it, having a Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston relationship.
Yeah. I didn't
This
think about that, but yes.
this movie is not an easy watch.
Mhm.
I think if you are moving to Battle Creek or Dearborn, Michigan, you should have your family watch it because that's what you're getting ready to move into.
Well, it's not just that. I think everyone needs to sit down and watch this simply for the fact that we have so many Muslims here now that if you have daughters, that will date a Muslim in high school or maybe eventually marry one, she needs to understand what she's getting involved in. Because if they marry and the situation arises like what happened in this movie where he talks her into going to the other country, that it's different when you're over there. When you don't have the shield, just like that one video we watched where Tosh.0 was talking about how lucky Canada is to have a big giant snuggie like America wrapped around it to protect it from others, right? Because nobody's going to invade Canada with us here, you
No,
know.
they're gonna talk all the shit they want, but they're protected.
Yeah.
They're a
So
protected class.
basically, a young woman who marries a Muslim here and she gets to go to McDonald's and wear her shorts and her bright colored leggings and, and dye her hair purple or whatever she wants to do. And pierce her nose. She can do all these things here because she has those freedoms. But as soon as she puts that wedding ring on and then she travels, to their country of origin, wherever it is, and she has to live and not even show this much hair. You see how much hair I'm showing? I'd be beaten in the street or shot because of it. So you'd have to look like this basically every day, and on top of that, you can't drive, you can't go anywhere unaccompanied by a male. She won't be ready for it, and unless she understands that you need to read the Quran, go to some classes, take some courses on what you're getting yourself into. It's the same thing with becoming a Catholic. You have to take classes and stuff to be able to convert to marry a Catholic. I mean, I think there should be more rules for any couple that are going to marry to understand what they're getting into. Like especially religions, and you'd think it would be a responsibility for the churches if you're very active in your church, that if you're going to marry a Pentecostal or Jehovah's Witness or any of these, that you should know what you're getting into, because when you're young and you just meet someone at a bar or a bowling alley or whatever, and you're going to marry them and convert to their religion, you should know something about it, a little of it, uh, to stop this kind of stuff from being able to happen. Because if you're given the knowledge and you still choose to do it, then it's less likely that anybody's going to care, because you knew what you were doing when you got involved. But if it's somebody who has no idea, I just don't see how you can feel like they don't deserve help, when they're
And
basically
you're,
clueless.
a lot of people think that I'm not really a very fair person to Islam. I'm not. I don't like Islam at all. That's not to say I don't like Muslims. There's some Muslims out there that are really nice people, like the good people you see in this movie. And that's something you need to understand. This movie has a lot of instances where people that would not normally be feeling like they have to give anything to her, they go out of their way to make sure she gets out to where she needs to be. It does a fine job of showing you the worst aspects of Muslim family life, because you take an interloper into a Muslim family and like it's just carte blanche to just treat them like shit. But also keep in mind there are large countries in the world, financially and physically, that still have slaves, and the sex slave trade is really seen around the Middle East. What's the big religion around the Middle East? Maybe the 51 countries that seem to follow Ishmael, and that's something that a lot of people they forget to think about, because the media doesn't omit that by accident. They don't want you to know about it. They want you to think about Trump tariffs and all the other garbage stuff going on in today's world, but they're not going to tell you the new stuff. Mr. Cotton Ministries. This movie came out in 1991. It was not a bad film. I feel that this movie
Well, I was going to give my rating on it, but I'm going to read. I'm going to read the extensions real quick. It says this film is pretty damn solid. Easy 75 out of 100. Good acting, good writing, decent production. Would recommend it. Would recommend it. So I do too. I definitely would recommend it, but I'm giving it an 85 out of 100. And the reason I'm doing that is because I feel that they went, it was almost like because they didn't have subtitles, right? It immerses the watcher into her position, being dropped into a totally different culture, totally different people, everything around her, the surroundings, even the daughter. She was adorable, and she was a really good actress at reacting to me like a real child that was immersed into this situation, a child of 9 that's never been around these people. And the way she looks in awe at all the people when they're speaking a totally different language she can't understand. She did a really good job. The casting person, whoever picked all the people to play the Muslims, to play the shopkeeper, even some of the people that she had to talk to that were just street vendors and stuff, because we don't live every day in a city or a town where there's street vendors everywhere every single day. You know what I mean? And that's how, instead of mostly grocery stores and stuff that we're used to, it's someone on the street selling the products, the food. Everyone sat on the floor and ate. It was very different culture, and they were very immersive. To me, the director went above and beyond to try to let you, as a viewer, actually sit in Sally's seat to see what Betty was going through at this time in her life and how overwhelmed she was. This was a young woman who had a daughter that was 9, and she was married to a husband she loved deeply, apparently, because she decided to go with him because she wanted him to see his family. She felt for him. He was struggling. She was asking him constantly, "Are you all right? What's going on?" Because she cared about him. And the sad fact about this is the fact that he used her emotions towards him and being a loving wife and submissive, to lie to her and get her to come over there, because he knew once he got her there, it didn't matter, you see. And that was sad because he betrayed her before they even left, see. And I love the actor that played her husband. He was phenomenal.
Alfred Molina is just a great actor.
To make you want to hate his ass, and that's a good actor. He made me believe that he was really going through all these things. And then when he became abusive and was beating her, it looked real between those two actors, Sally being the one being abused and him beating her. I was, remember I said I had clenched fists. I was like really upset and wanting to help her, and I felt like I was standing right next to her and I couldn't do anything. It was horrible. It was a horrible feeling to see that, but it was real. Okay, and that's what matters about this movie to me, is it's a truthful depiction from these actors trying to portray the characters to us, so that we had that feeling of sadness and betrayal and fear of what's going to happen next. Even for the daughter, when the daughter's being forced to go her first day of school completely covered, where she, it was horrible. The whole thing was horrible. And knowing that the teacher had to bend over backward to help her because she didn't even speak the language. So she's going to a school with total strangers, without her mother, without anyone she knew, and in a language she didn't understand, and totally different atmosphere compared to what the little girl had in America. They did a really good job at portraying that. The emptiness of the school, the way the school looked. There was no men in there. You notice that? It was all women, all wearing hijabs, and all the kids wearing coverings, except for the boys. Now, the boys weren't covered up at all. It was just the girls, and different things like that. To me, it was very real. And everybody's clothing was so drab and nothing stood out, because that's one thing that they do to the women, is they make them as bland as possible. Because if a woman even gets one guy to turn and look at her, then she should be beat to death, because that is against their religion to stand out. So they wanted everyone as boring as possible. And the director did a phenomenal job on picking casting, people that were doing the sets, people that were doing makeup, everything. It was phenomenal, I thought. If you want to feel like you're right there, and also the scenery they had, when they're driving in the Jeeps, the desolation, the one scene where they're at the airport where you could just see, it looked like hundreds and hundreds of people bustling around wearing hijabs and other military garb and all the weird looking vehicles that looked older, okay, than what the time was at 1990s, right? These all look like older vehicles, like they were really in Iran. You know what I mean? Different European cars, and it was a mixture. Some of them had decorations and ornamentation on them. And then the fact that the woman with a hijab on jumps out with that AK-47 and runs over and is just sticking it in her face and stuff because her bangs are hanging out. I was a nervous wreck on the edge of my seat. It was very, very emotional, the whole thing. They did a great job at bringing the emotion out. So I have to give it at least an 85. And the only reason I'm bringing it down that much lower is because I found a few inconsistencies that I felt brought me out of the story because it was so intense. Like the scene when the little girl is in the living room and opening a gift, and you see behind her, and there's a Christmas music very faintly in the background, but you see a Christmas tree. I'm like, they celebrate Christmas in Iran.
They don't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, that was like definitely shouldn't have been in there. I don't know why they put that in there, but that was, and that pulled me out of the scene because I was trying to understand, where are they? Did they leave Iran? I was, just little subtle things like that I don't know, that I had a hard time dealing with. But besides that, it was very authentic to me. From my point of view of what I took out of this movie as a woman and a mother of 2 daughters. I was heartbroken for this lead character and the other mothers, especially the ones that seemed like the mother-in-law. I had sympathy for her, not because she was forced to be a Muslim, because I don't think she was forced. She was born and raised there. To her, there is no other choice, because that's all she was ever offered. So if you're raised somewhere and you're never talked to about any other religion or any other food or clothing or anything like that, what you have in front of you is what you're used to. It's like me. I was raised at Air Force Base. I was used to hearing Reveille every morning. I got used to things because that's what I saw. So when I would go off of the base, like when we were in the Philippines or in Guam or some of the other places, it was totally different. It was like 2 different worlds that I got a slight vision of the life they lived. And then I had a totally different life. And I understood how lucky I was. I grew up knowing, man, I am a lucky kid to be an American and get to live like this, and they get to live like that. Because I remember in the Philippines, and I was a young girl, getting to go to the Nipa hut, or one of our maids made clothes for us, and she did all kinds of stuff. And basically, my parents paid her, and she almost paid for everything for their family because of us being able to, but we had 5 kids. So my mom needed help, right? My mom had a job, and my dad, was in the Air Force. So getting to go there, though, and see that they had a little area underneath their Nipa hut that they opened a trap door and they threw food down there for their pigs, and they had some chickens and some other stuff like that. I just thought it was awesome. I just loved going. And helped, I helped her pick vegetables and do all kinds of stuff. And I thought it was great, but I was very lucky to be in the position that I was to get to see some of the things that I did. And I appreciate that. And it's sad that so many people grow up in America and they go from their state to maybe another state. And that's it, that their whole life, they don't go anyplace, because they didn't get the opportunity to do that. So I feel blessed that I had that. And that's one reason why I gave the score of an 85, even though you showed earlier was like a 6.2 or something.
6.5.
6.5 on IMDb. Is that what you
That's really a good score.
Well,
that's a good score for the fact that IMDb is very prejudiced against certain types of movies and they don't really give glowing movie reviews out.
Well, I'm trying not to be prejudiced because of what the movie was about. I'm trying to go strictly on the acting abilities, what it takes to make a movie, all that stuff. And I just thought it was phenomenal to get that many people to portray the Muslims, right? And to try to portray it as realistic as
filmed
possible.
in Israel.
Well, the thing is that they just did a wonderful job. I felt like I was with her almost every minute through everything that she was struggling to go through, and her facial expressions, everything she did, it really does showcase Sally Field's acting abilities for being a tormented mother that's ripped apart because she knows that if she doesn't do it the right way or doesn't do the right thing, she's never going to see her daughter again. And I can't even imagine how horrible that would be to go through something like that. But I'm done now. I'll let you go.
I think this movie is an easy 80%. It's an easy 80% because to me it hits a lot of notes. It only falters in a few aspects where it doesn't really it could be buttoned up a little bit. There's some pacing issues, but for the most part, the movie, everything furthers the plot. Like I'd say 95% of this film furthers the plot to get her and her daughter to safety. The acting in this movie is amazing as hell. I was very surprised. The entire supporting cast was really good. The young daughter played an ideal role. She played the idyllic little young daughter that's like 5, 6 years old. And she was very well portrayed. Alfred Molina should have gotten an award or something for this. This was really good. His levels of anger, his ability to flip a switch, are crazy good. This film doesn't disappoint me at all. The director was Brian Gilbert, and since then it's had a lot of discussion, some praise, some critical, and that's okay. I think this was a movie that came out and it was a product of its time, literally, because it's trying to show you 84, what's going on between Iraq and Iran in the background. And then you get to see that this movie gets a green light to release, and then we start Desert Shield, and then it goes into Desert Storm, and that's when the movie is actually put out in theaters. So, it felt like kind of like a hit job on not a hit job, but a hit job on some people because of the fact that they're from a Middle Eastern country, and it's not. It's just that it's not our fault that your country is back-asswards and makes women dress up in fucking long pajama ninja wear. And I'm not apologizing for that. I never will. But that's just a mistake among the squiggle people, and that's okay. They're okay to be wrong. They also like to live in 130-degree temperatures daily in the desert. That's okay. But
that's one of the things I want to add real quick, because of what you just said about them forcing their women to dress that way and stuff. That's because it's a country that's ruled by religion. Okay. And that's one of the things that we are so lucky to have in our country is our forefathers, when they were setting up the rules, basically our Constitution, they were trying to take away those things to be forced upon us to give us freedom. Right. And I think they did a magnificent job. And I'm so blessed to live in the United States of America. I just wanted to add that since you said that.
I got to pee, Janet.
Do what?
I had to pee.
Oh, you got to pee? I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know that he was going to take a bio break or anything. But it was very, very dramatic. This was all the people that they got to portray the Muslim side of it were phenomenal. At least that's how I looked at it. I've never been immersed in a community of all Muslims, so I couldn't say 100% that's exactly what it would be like, but it was believable enough for me to where I was white knuckling almost through the whole movie when she came to the realization that she was never leaving. That she was never going to be able to take her daughter and go back to America to see her own family. And when she started pretending to go along with it because she was working on trying to figure out a way to escape and be able to take her daughter with her, that is when we see that she's learned enough about the country and the way things are done, and learned a little bit of the language. So she was able to use that for her benefit once she was able to do that, because she felt like she felt more confident in the way she was portraying herself, on how she wore her head covering, the not looking men in the face. She was, she just did a really good job, I feel. And I haven't read the book, so I can't say it was exactly like the book or anything. I'm just going straight from the movie that I got to watch today, and it was the first time I'd ever seen it. So I do recommend anyone that wants to understand a little bit about what it might be like to be taken and not just be Muslim. The fact that somebody, like if you were in a plane and it crashed in the jungle of the Amazon or something like that, and you're immersed into a total different world than what you're used to, and how you would react. You can't understand the language. You don't fit in at all. You have no means of being able to feed yourself or anything, without the help of the people around you. It was so realistic to me of everything that she went through. But the fear of not getting ever to go back home again, that was really hard. And I'm thankful though it ended the way it did when she got to see the red, white, and blue flag flying at the embassy, knowing she was going home. I was like, oh, thank God. I just felt a huge sense of relief off this roller coaster ride that I was on at the time. So I enjoyed the ending. That was one of my favorite parts, with her holding her daughter in her arms. That was phenomenal for me.
I really want to show the Terrence gives Phil cancer from the South Park remake called Not Without My Anus. If you don't watch,
can't you put the link in the chat for everybody in case they want to see it?
I might be able to. Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But think about it. All depending on what's happening right now in one of our states, in the city of New York, about what our possibilities could be, leaning more towards this. Especially for the people in New York.
You don't want your wife to look like a garbage bag with legs? What's wrong?
Maybe they do. There might be a lot of men that would rather their wife not be able to talk back or do anything. She won't be able to get a job or anything. You just keep her at home, and she can cook and clean and wait on you just like you want.
I have a name for vaginal dryness, and it's called Andrew Tate. Okay.
I don't understand that, but okay.
He's pathetic. He really is. He's just a pathetic.
Is he the guy that was accused of like raping women or something?
He's been in Romania shuttling people around and doing bad traffic stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that name before, but I really don't.
He's the ultimate misogynist, complete with his religion being that of Muslim. So.
Oh, he's a Muslim?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I have zero respect.
Well, honestly, I haven't met that many Muslim people. Honestly, I met one, and I was visiting a friend, and I was taking a trash can to the curb, and I guess they saw me, and they didn't know who I was. So he came out, and he was wearing he looked like this outfit looked like it was from India or something to me. So, I don't know, but I thought he was a Muslim. But there was a couple kids out there that belonged at the house that I was at, and one of them was like a 6-year-old boy or whatever. And the guy came over to me and he introduced himself. He put his head down and he asked me who I was. And I told him I was visiting or whatever. I didn't see what that said, but
Shadow's like, what the heck are you wearing? I didn't know this was a Star Wars movie.
Well, I'm wearing a something that she wore later on in the movie before she got to, when she was in Egypt, I think, but because it's not near as forceful as they were in Iran. But what happened was the 2 little kids came running around me and were laughing, and I had the trash can. I put it down. I was walking back up, and the guy came over to introduce himself, and he put his hand out, but I didn't shake it because I was like, I don't know who this is and what, I just was, I said, well, it's nice to meet you. I'm visiting. And the little boy came behind me and he grabbed the guy's hand, the other hand, not the one he had out to shake. And the guy slapped the kid. And I was like, I looked at him. I said, what are you doing? And he said, he touched my unclean hand, and I had no idea what that meant. And then the dad came out and he's like, boys get in the house or something like that. I wanted to punch the guy right in the face. But he told me, he said, come in, let's go inside or whatever. And I was like, who the fuck is that? I was pissed off. And he goes, oh, they're so-and-so or whatever. And he told me he was a Muslim. And I was like, well, if he touched my kid like that, I would have called the cops or whatever. So I was pissed.
Why call the cops?
So, well, all I know is that I'd never seen anything like it. The fact that he slapped a kid because the kid was trying to shake his hand. He was 6. What a fucking asshole. That's all I could think of. So there's one of my actual, interactions with a Muslim. And he's in America and he did that. So I would have called the police. That was assault. If he touched me, I would have kicked him right in the balls. So he might have killed me, pulled a knife out or something, but there's no way. He didn't touch me and I didn't touch his hand. I did not shake his hand. Not being rude. I just was looking at him like, what is he doing? And who is he? And I could barely understand him anyways, but I was trying to listen to what he said. But he put his head down like he was introducing himself is what I felt. But whatever. But you don't slap a kid up across the face because they don't know what they're trying to be nice in the first place. So I don't know. I didn't like it. So maybe that one incident I had in my life with a Muslim, and that was in Marysville, California. So I was visiting some people in the military. So it was interesting.
So in hindsight, this movie's pretty good. It has some relevant topics in it. Shows a fairly accurate description of what Iran would be like in '84. It's got good direction, editing, pacing could use a little bit of work. But if you like Sally Field, if you like Alfred Molina, definitely give it a watch. Janet, do you know what we're watching next week?
Oh, no, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember I was so excited from last week to get to do Lady Hawk. I was just on top of the world over that one. So I'm sure it's one I didn't pick. Something you picked, right?
I mean, yes.
Okay. So what is it?
Let me just show you the trailer and get my copyright strike from YouTube.
Well, don't play the whole thing. I'll get in trouble because I'm on YouTube. And I don't want to lose my channel. So don't play any music and we'll get to talk around it.
Hold on. Black Sheep.
Is it Black Sheep?
6. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's a movie that I haven't seen. Because when you said Black Sheep, I was thinking it was the other one, the comedy. But you said no.
It is a comedy. It's a wonderful comedy.
It is? Is that what we're watching?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were watching something else.
Black Sheep, official Australian trailer.
Miles from civilization.
I have a dream.
You gotta pause it once in a while.
A secret experiment
I don't want to get in trouble.
has given birth.
And I paused
I think you did show me this now that I see all the blood.
Okay.
I think I do remember you showing me this now.
To a new
So it's
breed
another really bad B-rate horror
It's going to
movie.
be wonderful.
of fear.
Bloody animals.
Oh, they need to be trimmed up. Boy, they got a lot of wool on them.
We go from watching a movie about Muslims to watching a movie about sheep.
Well, that's true for you. So
Lord!
There's something wrong with the sheep.
Getting revenge? Then
What?
I haven't seen this trailer. This isn't what I thought it was because I haven't seen this trailer.
They take us.
Oh, nonsense.
I thought it was a serial killer, but it isn't. It's a herd of sheep. How do you find all these movies?
It's a Weta Workshop movie. The people that did the special effects for Lord of the Rings.
They're. I don't get it.
The hell's he doing?
What you're saying?
Say again?
I didn't understand what you meant.
No,
The people that did the effects, special
Are the
effects
same ones
for
that
Lord of
did
the
the
Rings,
effects for Lord of the Rings.
and they wrote this movie and made your own movie.
I don't know if this is their own movie, but I fucking love it.
Oh, but okay, so they did the special effects for
They
this
did
one
special
too.
effects. At the very least, they did special effects. They might have actually contributed to script because the reveal's coming up.
What
But they know.
doing in here?
Oh,
You wouldn't
no.
understand.
You
What's
wouldn't
that noise?
understand.
Somebody's
It's
shearing.
reality. So he's turning into a sheep.
Oh God, no.
Get ready
I don't know if I'm going to
violence.
survive watching this.
We're trapped.
of the Lambs.
Violence of
Sheep
the
are
Lamb.
revolting.
That's what it's
I'm
called.
Oh no.
So
Black
they're like
sheep.
zombies? They're like
There's something in
zombies?
here.
Something? So they're zombie sheep.
Yeah.
I wonder what is it? A virus or somebody give them something to cause them to?
It's a movie. I have extraordinary taste in cinema, Janet. That's how you find these gems.
Jesus.
We're gonna have
Yeah,
fun.
I can tell you right now, Six Nations, you spend too much time with Bruce because he's rubbing off on you.
The bad thing is he spends a quarter of the time with me that you do, and I still haven't converted you yet.
No, it's not going to work. It isn't going to work because you took me to that one website that showed me all those little boxes going across, and I was like, "Where in the fuck do you find this crap?"
Tubi.
They were all bad
Tubi.
movies. Every single one of them were bad. I mean, they looked like they were made by 12-year-olds or something.
It's
That's
not
part of the problem,
Charlene Spade.
because your inner 12-year-old is the one that wants to watch all this stuff.
My inner 12-year-old is running my body.
Yeah, definitely. When it
Somebody-
comes to pinball, playing pinball, or going to the arcade and movies, yes, it's your inner 12-year-old for sure.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying I can tell, and it's rubbed off on Six Nations.
This
For
movie
sure.
might be better than Velocipaster.
Yeah. Terrible.
Okay, kids. My name's Bruce. This is Janet. Come back with us next week. We're going to be here talking about the 2006 masterpiece, Black Sheep.
Black sheep. See, I was expecting at least one sheep to be black.
No.
Not all white ones.
No, they're all white.
Yeah.
They all look the same.
Doesn't make any sense. But I didn't see anybody wearing, like the right clothing.
No.
For all the sheep.
People, the two of us will be back in action next week.
Uh,
You guys check out Tubi until then. They've got a good selection of free films. And the best schlock is on Tubi. Thank
and
you,
it's
Janet.
free, right?
Free.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go, guys. And if you need anyone to help you choose movies, just send Bruce a DM. He'll give you a good list of movies if you like that. What you just saw.
your Mother's Day movie going to be G.I. Jane this year?
No, we already watched it.
Okay. Thank God.
I'll come up with something else.